Wuthering Waves is racist, right? Not even the slightest bit of a skin tone variance. That's insane. It is insane, right? Not any brownie mommy. Where are they representing my culture? How dare a Chinese company not represent my skin tone, right? Now, I answered this. I answered this, right? And I said, the gacha community sometimes has some of the most retarded takes I've seen. An Asian game representing their beauty standards? Damn, they must be crazy. And we have one more related to this, but I want to go into Billy Game so people understand how stupid. 99% of games released in China, as it should be, because that's the primary market. China, not you as an American, not me as a European, right? China is the primary market, then Japan. They make more money on China most of the time. It's based on their culture. I think I already said this recently, right? But just like you Americans like guns and explosions, the Chinese like their culture, and most of the games you'll see are representing their cultures and their beauty standards. And in most games, you will not see a lot of variance. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. But not only that, the second thing is okay, let's remove that, it's their beauty standards and it's their culture because it's a Chinese game. The game hasn't even launched. Like, this is the starting roster. We don't know what they plan on releasing 3 months after, 6 months after, right? A year after. We'll see when they actually release brownie mommies or brownie daddies, if they release them, and if not, it is what it is. If you don't like how a game is representing beauty, you don't have to play the fucking game. Not any game has to be pleasing to your standards. Not every game should be, made for you specifically. Now, I would bet that this is gonna be a Genshin player. Now, let's ignore the debate on Genshin versus Wuthering Waves for a second. No, actually, let's get into that because there is one more for that. Let me see if I can find that because we have one more on that and I want to also include it in here. It's pretty sad to me seeing how shameless Wuthering Waves copies Genshin. I can imagine some devs saying, hey boss, I have this cool original idea. We could try to implement, and their boss cutting them off telling him to go back to tracing Genshin screenshots. Once again, I think the Genshin players forget how their games looks like, right? I think Genshin players are starting to forget that their game is literally Breath of the Wild in terms of looks. You can like Genshin, you can love Genshin. Genshin is a great game, but let's be honest, right? Your game, it's Breath of the Wild, leaning more into the element combat, and the only reason they went into elemental combat was to avoid more, more drama or more accusations of just copying Breath of the Wild. The sole bastion or of originality. Yeah, it's like I don't know. These people, I understand that most of them are a younger audience, and I understand that most of them, their only experience with gachas is Hoyo. It's Genshin. Not even Hoyo, Genshin. Because Hoyo has more gachas. So I can understand that people speak from not knowing what the fuck that they're talking about, which is completely fair. But at the same time, if you're gonna be talking bullshit, at least make sure you try to back it up, and at least make sure um, that you know what you're saying. Now, when it comes to the UI, because a lot of people are talking about the UI on Wuthering Waves, and the UI, it's literally Genshin. Like it is. When we talk about UI, there is not a lot of variance you can make. Right? If we talk about gachas and we download 30 gachas, most of them will have the same UI. There is not a lot of originality, not because they are not original, but because they're gonna be doing what it works. If you want to compete with Genshin and Genshin players come into your game, what do you think a designer is going to do? Create a new interface? Or apply something that you already are used to, so it's easier for you to transition into the new game? Like, again, I understand people talk because, oh, look, it looks the same, but if you don't know how the industry works or how those things works, you should not be talking a lot. That said, I think we have one more regarding Wuthering Waves. So after the Wuthering Waves big racist drama, right? After Wuthering Waves copying Genshin Impact, which to some extent, kind of, right? We have one more. Don't worry, don't worry. Can we be real now? Why were people expecting PGR gacha rates on Wuthering Waves? Just because they're from the same depths? They're not even the same genre. PGR, while generous, expect you to get most ace characters to clear endgame easily. PGR expects you to build multiple essential teams to clear normal game modes. On the other hand, WoW is an open world game that you probably won't even be dependent on having most characters on your account. I don't get the disappointment. The gacha is generous, as is already. My biggest problem was not saying this, because to some extent we can agree, even though it's a shit take, and we'll go into that in a second. My biggest problem was the gacha is generous as is already. That was my biggest issue here. If your only source of gachas is Hoyo games, you don't know what the generous gacha is. You don't. You don't fucking know what the generous gacha is. Now, I'm gonna put the same example here, so you people can see how retarded this is. Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, are they the same type of game? No. Why do they have the same fucking rates, the same thing on the gacha? Oh no, you tell me. Now, why can't you expect good rates on Wuthering Waves just because it's the same developer? No, because you expect them to do better. Because everyone is expecting something better than Genshin. Because we want something better to play. And if you get the same rates, you know what's coming. Saving for 2-3 months to get completely shafted on a 50-50 to a shitty lolly that I don't want to get. Like this one here with the pink hair. Just saying, I don't want to get shafted. I already got shafted on Honkai getting Clara instead of getting Black Swan. I don't want it to happen again. So, rates can be higher. The game is not generous. A game with 0.8% can be generous as long as you give enough currency. We don't know yet how much currency this game is going to be giving. It doesn't look super good right now. It doesn't look like it's going to be amazing, but we don't know the events, we don't know the patches or the codes or what the schedule is going to be looking like, right? But we'll see. That said, though, I just wanted to showcase these three dramas with Wuthering Waves itself, because the game hasn't even launched, and there is every single day more and more and more dramas, which is good for us to farm some content. Bad for the game, though, because people, I don't know what they get into this. I get that you are hyped for the game. At the same time, I think it's stupid that you are going to be talking so much shit when a game hasn't even come out, right? So we'll see how this develops. We'll be keeping in touch with the community so we can keep farming this beautiful content from these amazing and smart people. That said, do let me know what you guys think, and you guys say goodbye to YouTube, since I'm going to be making a video out of this. And remember, Wuthering Waves is racist.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。